You've worked with thousands of investors like me. Where do people go wrong when they try to rent property?
Well, through my experience of most of the people who have come to me who have had problems with single-family home property management, it truly ends up being the owner's fault. Now, part of that would be in purchasing the right type of property and making sure that the type of investment they're looking for will really give them the results they're looking for.
So that's number one.
That's
purchasing
number
the
one.
right
Purchasing
property.
the right property would be probably your number one, and it will cut you out a lot of the problems right off the bat by having the right property, which will attract the right type of tenant for what you want.
What other problems do people have when renting property?
Okay, and the other problems is really involving in the management of the property themselves. Many of the people who have come to me with problems, and again, I remark that it's their fault. And it's their fault for a couple reasons. One reason is in the qualification of the tenant, that because this is my property, or because you own this property, Gene, and you've decided to pick out the colors of carpet and the color of paint, and maybe you built that gazebo over the weekend with your son, then your houses must be worth much more than anybody else's house on the block. So if your neighbor across the street, Bob's house, is renting for $1,250 a month, then the conclusion, of course, is your house must be worth $1,500, $1,600 a month.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm the investor. I'm comfortable with the necessary form, but the tenant is coming up with items within the 48-hour timeline that need to be addressed. What legal issues are there?
That's the reason for the form to discuss. The comment the gentleman made about the blinds should have been negotiated prior to, and the answer is very simple, that if you wanted it done, you should have negotiated. Now, if there is a leaky faucet or a toilet that runs, you could be hard about it, and you can say, well, the deal's the deal. You moved in, it wasn't there, now you have to take care of it. But the way we start this relationship is going to be very important. Now, of course, you're underlining, you're worried about, if I give him this, is it ever going to stop? Okay? But you have to be very careful that a repair does not turn into damage. So we do believe that your tenant should be responsible for some of the maintenance to this property. Okay? You're responsible for wear and tear. And that is a debate, what is wear and tear, what is maintenance. Our belief is your tenant is responsible for repairs around this house that you and I should be able to do ourselves, Gene, with a screwdriver, a pair of pliers, a plumbing wrench, a leaky faucet. You broke the window. You chewed up the sprinkler heads with the lawnmower, tightened up the doorknob, putting the sliding glass screen door back on, the closet door back on, changing a flapper in your toilet, which is maintenance, not wear and tear. And I believe your tenant should be responsible. But not everybody's capable of doing that type of repair. So if your tenant is not able to do that repair and they call my office, Gene, we will try to pre-qualify that over the phone, because of course part of my job is to be knowledgeable enough not to send people out there that do stupid stuff. Stupid is lighting pilot lights, flipping a circuit breaker button, pulling spoons and rags out of garbage disposals, and not knowing that Ninja Turtles don't live in sewers. Okay, part of my job is to do that. But if the tenant's not capable, I would prefer that we send out a maintenance man. Now, my contract has written a $65 deductible. So if it's a simple broken sprinkler head and it's only $25, your tenant will be billed $25. Okay, but if we replace the insides to the toilet, a new fluid master, and let's say it's $85, then your tenant will only be billed for the first $65. The incentive is trying to get the tenant to take care of these things himself. That's what we would want. But I also don't want to get in a battle over that small repair, and now a $65 repair is $800 in damage. So my rule is fix first, fight later. When we send the tenant the bill, the tenant may get mad. He may say, well, nobody told me this was in the contract, even though he's supposed to have read the contract. But nobody told me this, and I think it's unfair. Well, my people are told not to argue. Okay, they're told to tell the basic truth that, well, if you disagree with this, Gene, then the best thing you do is go ahead and write me a letter stating your case, and I will make sure the owner will get that letter. Then we will call you up. They asked us to call you, we'll call you, and we'll discuss the situation. If you're adamant this is the contract, they have to pay it, they have to pay it. Some owners will negotiate and go 50-50, okay? But typically, if the tenant says, well, I'm not going to pay it, I have remedies that I can do to collect it. For instance, my lease states that all late fees, attorney's fees, notice fees, repair bills, utility bills, guardian bills, HOA fines, just about everything you can think of is converted into rent after 35 days past due. And I could send your tenant, what we prefer to do is send them a letter that says, we're going to assume you didn't get the first bill.